can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Extraordinarily busy week, Don. And just before we start, I know this is the doc when he comes on, or if he listens to this, he'll be annoyed. But I want to give a very quick special shout out, just first up to the Daily Mail, who reported faithfully our podcast last week about, mind you, they just said it was on our weekly show. They didn't mention that it was You Cannot Be Serious. But a great shout out to them who reported faithfully our podcast and what I said about the voice and the brainwashing of children in kindergartens about the welcome to the country and the history of all Australia, not just Aboriginal Australians. And they reported faithfully what I said. So they were just sort of more or less endorsing what we had said by being very, very accurate and reporting exactly what I said. So
you're happy. You're a happy little soul, are you?
Very, very good. Very good of them to draw attention to the fact.
They should really appreciate it because you don't hand out compliments.
No, they helped to reinforce what I said by just reprinting it. So thanks to them. But I know they would be a bit averse to mentioning what our show is called, You Cannot Be Serious, because they don't want to be accused of plagiarising stuff to fill their paper up with. But so they did they said it was on our weekly show, but they couldn't bring themselves to say.
That's all right. Okay.
And they said that it was a sort of a rant. It wasn't a rant of mine. It was. Well, it all depends what you call it.
You go off on your tree.
No, a rant is something that is
it's your form of Asperger's. Yeah, but it's your form of Asperger's. You just get onto something and you just can't let it go.
What I made was a pronouncement, Don, which is to enunciate or articulate something in a particular manner. That's what I did.
You just go off your tree a lot of the time.
And so, and we repeat again that we have been right on the voice and brainwashing of children and the history of all Australia, not just Aboriginal Australia. And I indicated who were the first inhabitants. If you think I made that up, that comes from historians who have gone into it, and many of them are Aboriginal historians. So don't think that I make it up. I just get that from documents that I read rather than the biased stuff that is pushed out on behalf of activists.
Okay, you've given as much time as you did last week. Let's move on.
Right. So then I watched, and this is just along the same theme. I know you did too, but I watched the Australia play. Who did they play?
Well,
the second game. Who did they play? And we had to watch Canada.
What are you talking?
Yes,
I've watched Ireland,
Canada,
Nigeria, Nigeria, and
we've only
Canada.
played one, haven't we?
No, we've played three now. We're into the second round.
Okay, we played three.
Yes.
So
we've won two.
I watched the last one. We had
Canada?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
That's right. No, I thought the Canadians were terrible.
Why?
No, but maybe because the Australians were
thought
good.
It was great. Well, the Australians went from the start and didn't allow the Canadians to come into the game.
But we had to endure, once again, the tiresome pandering of the self-appointed sort of interlopers who...
Hang on, are you going to talk about the opening ceremony?
Yep.
I turn it off, mate.
They just rabbit on.
I turn it off.
Why we put up with that?
Yeah,
because it gains strength because no one pushes back on it. It was never a problem until the start of this century, 2000. I think Ernie Dingo, as a joke, said that we should welcome the people who've been on the land as a joke, and now it just goes from strength to strength. Self-appointed arbiters to tell us that we have permission to be here in our country, why we put up with it.
Well, you've got a choice, which I did, and that was just turn it down and change the channel while that went on, and then I came back to the sport. But listen, let's get back to the soccer.
Yes.
Why does the coach receive the criticism that he's getting? This Tony Gustafsson. Now, when he took over the team, he was criticised, but what he was doing, and you can see it now, he was developing depth. Now, that team is the best team. And the other thing it came of flash, why the women in Australia are much better internationally sports-wise than what the men are. And it's not the soccer, it's swimming. I watched the swimming. Fantastic weekend of sport. We had rugby union, Australia playing New Zealand, Bledisloe Cup. Unfortunately, they're just not good enough. Australia, the swimming's fantastic from Japan. We have the soccer. Just fantastic. Not that I'm a sports nut, but the beauty of sport is you really do see the true characters of the people involved.
Do you know the beauty of...
And there's not too many pursuits in life where you see the real character of someone.
Do you know the beauty of sport, in my opinion, Don, is...
Doesn't matter whether you're rich, poor, whatever. If you want to do it, you can.
The beauty of sport is that you go along to watch and barrack for and support who you wish without any political interference. If you can possibly get away from the politics of people who run sport and want to assert their opinion through the sport that they govern,
hang on, you're getting off the subject. The beauty of sport is it doesn't matter about your race, your creed, or whatever you come from. If you've got this ability or whatever else, that is the determining factor, not money or privileged position or whatever else.
My dear man, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying...
but you're politicising it.
I'm saying it is great to watch the sport without any interference from political agendas that are pushed on you through the sport that they govern. That's exactly what I'm saying, Don. It's fantastic. Keep
and also,
it out of the sport.
Just getting back to it, Gustafsson...
Could you not understand
that? Will you shut up? Said about, or was criticised about not allowing, or not giving an update on Sam Kerr. I wouldn't have done that either. I mean, that's a tactical ploy. She is one of the best players in the world. The team would be out there trying to work something out, and you'd keep her under wraps or keep the injury under wraps. That's part of the ploy. So why is he criticised about that? And the girls are not getting... some of the media aspects are not being able to be interviewed in some cases. I would keep them under wraps as well. Everything they're doing is right, but they're getting criticised for doing the things that are right.
Because the media try to be edgy and bloody obstinate and try and just make a name for themselves by asking pesky, stupid, irrelevant questions, hoping to get a bit of clickbait or a headline out of it, Don. They are vicariously. Do you know what that word means?
No.
Vicariously means you're living your life through someone else. They vicariously live their sporting lives through the people who make the sport go round.
Oh, I don't. Anyway, I think it's fair. I think that, and I watched England play China last night. It was a contrast of physiques and players. You had the English girls who were really big and strong, whereas the Chinese, they're the best Asian team, best team out of Asia. They were short and quicker, England.
Good.
They dominated. China got a goal. But you could see the difference, but I could still see the merits of both teams. And
I watched USA and Portugal from New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Because you had to get onto Optus, why we can't watch them all. But that's
I'd love to know.
That's you have to bid for it, a rights campaign. And the USA, if they had been beaten, they were out.
Really?
They were out, the world champions. And Portugal hit the upright, in the last 5 minutes. And if that had been a goal, they would have gone in and the world champions out.
Really?
And just for the sake of an inch, an inch can make a difference, Don. And they were devastated. Anyhow, that was the biggest crowd of any.
What, in New Zealand?
This is what they said.
Bigger than the All Blacks.
I'm only just. I think they said it's the biggest crowd that they've ever had for any football match ever. I think that included all brands of football.
Really?
Now I stand corrected on that, Don. Sounds extravagant, doesn't it?
It's the best football as far as the ladies are concerned.
Anyhow, so that's going great, and
I went to the football on the weekend. The local football, Red Hill playing YCW, local football at Red Hill.
God Almighty.
Can you believe it was inclusive round? I walked in,
Oh,
I thought
no.
Red Hill have changed their jerseys.
Oh, fuck.
And this LGBTG plus or whatever, you're across it.
Wasn't
Have
that,
they got
was
a new flag? Because there is the rainbow flag,
Yeah.
but what do you call the V at the end? It's not a. It's a type
Vegan?
Of, well, it's a kind. No, it's a kind
Virgin?
of a yoke. A yoke which goes white. I think it's got purple and a black stripe in. Is that Is this the LGBT?
Ah.
But anyway, I walked in.
Might be.
I thought
trans.
YCW, the Frankston YCW team were in their traditional, and here are the Red Hill boys. You can't believe this.
Why do
There's
they wear
five flags. There's 5 flags. There was the Australian flag. There was the Aboriginal flag. There was the Torres Strait Islander flag. There was the LGBT or whatever flag.
Gay pride
and
one.
the Red Hill flag. 5 flags flying. And the towers around the ground, you know, the lighting towers that so allows the boys to train.
Done up with bunting.
They've been painted red. And they have Indigenous paintings or symbols or what, right up,
Yeah.
right around the ground.
Well, if you put up with it, if you don't push back on it, it'll just keep going and going. We push back on it because it's absolute nonsense. We
It's
are Australians,
unbelievable.
all of us, one and all. We don't discriminate between race and colour and all, but they keep just trying to divide us.
I think
by
it's a
bullshit.
council. I think it's a council down there, the Mornington Shire, because they wanted to change names of streets to Indigenous names at one stage. They call the Rosebud Aquatic Centre the Wawa or Wawa or something. I can't believe it.
And tell me this, Don. The media made a big song and dance about a footballer coming out and saying he was gay. Why does the media push all this nonsense? Who cares if a footballer comes out and plays for any AFL side if he's gay? Who cares what his sexual orientation is? They only draw attention to it so that it makes people pissed off that we actually talk about it. We don't care. We don't care if you're gay, lesbian, GLBQ, trans, whatever. Stop just telling everyone about it. Let people do what they want to do. They keep dividing all this stuff about people saying, what the hell did we go on with this for? This is why we get annoyed with it. And we have first-hand experience. If you wonder why we go on about it, we were taken to task by McLaughlin and his little bag man for discussing
Who's the bag man?
Just by discussing the Winmar thing with Sheehan, you and me, about why he lifted his jumper. If you wonder why we are preoccupied with it, because we were done over for the political agenda of those people trying to massage their own egos. And I've never forgiven for it.
I noticed our combatant in that, or Leon's Wire, he's helping the Victorian government in their compensation deal over in London.
No, is he?
No, hang on.
Yep.
I thought the government would have their own negotiators. Why do you employ an outside person to do that? And then I started to wonder about the costs. That would have cost the Victorian government a lot of money.
Irrelevant people.
What?
Irrelevant.
No, I mean you've got you've got a top barrister. You know, one of Melbourne's best. And his fees for a day would be quite substantial. He's gone for a week or 2 weeks.
Didn't
Fair's over and whatever else. So there wouldn't be much change out of well over $100,000.
Oh, didn't he help McLaughlin ramp up against us?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, did you?
That's what I said.
I wonder who paid for his services.
No, that was pro bono.
I see. They were just massaging their own egos by doing it, were they?
No.
Fair income. The most disgraceful court case ever brought against anyone. Speaking of court cases, Don, will we just segue on to iCook?
Well, there's another court case that I'd like to bring up too.
Well, why don't you do that before I segue on to iCook?
It amazed me why Daniel Andrews gave evidence in camera under IBAC. And you got Robert Redleck coming out and criticising the state government and the power, and also drawing attention to IBAC, which is supposed to keep people in check. and the way its powers or whatever have been eroded, it's just amazing what's going on. How does Daniel Andrews give evidence in camera whereas other people don't?
No idea, but no one pushes back on it. And if you let people get away with it, they'll take an inch and they get a mile in the end. And if the opposition don't ramp up against it, or if they have the numbers in Parliament, they can't do anything about it. If you don't have the numbers, you can push anything through you like, and you can make your own rules up.
That's and the people who advise Daniel Andrews, he's got his media advisors, he ought to have a stylist too, because his taste as far as dress is concerned, for the Premier, the top man in Victoria, to go and represent the state at various functions regionally where wearing a bloody zip farce and polo fleece, it might even be a North Face, I don't know.
Might it?
An open neck shirt. I mean, the top man should have a collar and tie and a suit on, shouldn't he?
Sounds like he's a bogan.
No, don't say that.
I said
I didn't say that.
I'm saying it sounds like.
I just think he should be employing, as well as his media advisors, he should be having a stylist on board.
So for 3 years, Don, you and I have been on this, along with Andrew Rule and a couple of others, about the I Cook Foods saga, where they were run out of business for the benefit of the government organisation called Community Chef. They were run out of business falsely and deliberately and fraudulently. And finally, I Cook Foods is getting their day in court, the Supreme Court in Victoria.
That was supposed to be done on Monday. We announced it last week. It was going to be Monday, Sutton.
I know. I'm telling you now, Don, it's on today because it was held over.
Today's Wednesday.
I'm telling you it's happening today because it was held over for 2 days. It was meant to be on...
Why?
Does it matter why?
It does, because I've got so many conspiracy theories. Do you think the fact that it was advertised for Monday, the cameras... I don't believe the cameras are at court right now. And that might be another means of not giving publicity to the case.
Right.
Now, you've just had Rod Porter ring up saying there's no publicity here. Now, we said on the podcast last week, Sutton is going to be on the stand on Monday. Now they've delayed it 2 days. And there's no media coverage at the court, the Supreme Court today, right now. So so you wonder why I worry about conspiracy theories.
So it's a bit like, please don't roll your eyes at this, Don, but it's exactly the same thing as what's happening in America.
Oh, far.
Now, I'm just telling you this, Don. Joe
Don't
Biden.
Worry about
I'm telling you this now, mate. This is exactly what's going on. The mainstream media who have sides will not cover things that they think is deleterious to the party that they cover's interests. In America, Joe Biden has been found fraudulently be taking money from several governments through his son, and they have documented evidence of it, and CNN won't even use it as have not mentioned one minute of it, and it's the biggest scandal in American history ever.
Let them worry about their thing. Why aren't you more passionate about what's happening in our...
I'm just telling you, it's exactly what's happening here with I Cook Foods. Now, I Cook Foods, the chief witness is on the stand today. This is Brett Sutton, and he is being charged with a term called malfeasance.
What?
Malfeasance.
Which is a charge?
He's been asked to confirm why he cancelled I Cook Foods license. He's been cited for malfeasance, which is it actually means you're lying.
Oh.
It's legally unjustified or harmful to the it's legally unjustified malfeasance or harmful to the contract or contrary to the law. Harmful and contrary to the law is malfeasance. He's been cited for that because he closed down I Cook Foods because he said it was unsafe and unfit to package up and deliver food without testing the food. When they tested it, they found that that was completely wrong. It was completely safe and it was fit for consumption, and he closed them down, and he is in court as a result of that today, and he's going to be asked to justify why he closed it down without any authority, or he had the authority, without any evidence to back up what he did. because the inference, of course, is that he got rid of iCook Foods, a free enterprise company, to put in the government-funded food organisation called Community Chef. And then after they finished with doing that with him, we were ahead of the curve here, Don, and you'll remember we've spoken twice to Robbie Peterson. We've been ahead of the curve about the COVID bullshit. They are now finding that this was Mr. Fauci has been an absolute liar and a completely corrupt arm of the Biden government.
Will he be charged?
And it's happened
I'm
here.
asking you a question. Do you think he'll be charged?
Will Sutton be charged? Or will Fauci?
Well, they've both lied, haven't they?
And of course the Premier closed this state down. More harm went out. Any evidence at all? We've read out all the things that COVID wasn't responsible for.
In Sweden, they conducted tests on Medina about the heart problems
we read out
caused.
all the things that COVID wasn't responsible for, and. This is what they just for the sake of doing it. They lied about. This is what they did, Don. They lied about. And I'll just quickly read it out again. They lied about the COVID death statistics. They lied about there was no treatment. There was no treatment. You could go home and you turn blue and then go to hospital. They lied about the ventilators. They lied about the hospitals were overflowing. They lied about wearing masks. They lied about lockdowns. They lied about
and do you know who's the
preventing
first
family viewing their relatives.
And you know who's one of the first to write about this? Her name, and we'll give her a shout out. Ready? Shari Markson. She writes in The Australian. She wrote about 12 months ago about this in The Australian, and now it's starting to be acknowledged. It's a worldwide cover-up.
Is that Max Markson's?
No, I don't think so, but Shari Markson, she writes for The Australian, she was one of the first in the world, if not the first, to come out 12 months ago in The Australian.
And this government here in this state is fits all these. They lied about the safety of the vaccines. They tried to hide their data for 75 years. They didn't want it to be published for 75 years. They lied to the extent of the vaccine injuries. They lied about even calling the shots vaccines. They lied about the need for vaccine passports. They lied about the try to justify human rights advice abuses and the vaccine mandates. They lied about the rates. They lied about everything.
And what about the businesses that have gone out, the small businesses that have gone out of business? Would they have a case to sue?
Let's hope so, and let's hope Brett Sutton, when he's finished with the iCook Foods, I ask him to justify why he completely drove this state into the ground along with the Premier. And when you consider everything that's being, and even the people who were great supporters of the vaccine have now found out that this that all this information was complete hoax, complete lie. So that's that now, Don.
Can I ask you a question,
please?
I did a flick the other day, came in from outside, flicked the TV on, and they had car racing. Now, the cars sounded like a high-speed drill that the dentist operates. It was squealing, and I think they call them Formula E's.
Yes, they're battery operated, Don.
That's what and they were racing. They seemed to be in a car park.
What do you reckon the E stood for?
I don't know.
Electric, eh?
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. This is what I'm asking.
Or did you think it might have been exhaust?
She's pissing us off.
Formula E is electric, Don. This is the new...
It could be E for egg too, Johnny. Now, I don't watch the car racing.
E for what?
Egg, E-double-G, egg.
Why would it be egg?
Well, you said Formula E. Now, I don't watch it, so why would they call it, to me, why would they call it Formula E? They call the other one, what, Formula One? Why?
Yeah, because it's the number one sport.
Anyway, I'm not into it, but I was intrigued where they were racing. They seemed to be going through a car park somewhere over in Europe.
It'd be a road circuit, Don. Be a road circuit. We go through
a lot of it was undercover.
We go through a car park in our Grand Prix here in Melbourne, around Albert Park. It goes through a car park.
Where?
Undercover. No,
undercover.
You mean an undercover car park?
Yeah, undercover car park.
I'm sorry, no, I didn't hear. I didn't understand.
That's what it seemed to be. But they were screaming. These cars were screaming.
They only can do them so many laps because they run out of battery power.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're limited to a certain amount of laps, and they go very quickly, and they've got great acceleration.
What, better than the Formula Ones? Or quicker?
Well, it's only governed by how much grip the tyres can impart onto the road without spinning the wheels.
Thank you. You've answered me. Thank you very much. And talking about roads, you live in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Two people in the last couple of days have told me that the roads are very quiet. Is there any particular reason why the roads are quiet in Melbourne at the moment?
As in not a lot of traffic?
Not a lot of traffic.
It's not making a lot of sound through the tyres?
The first one was a friend had an appointment at Epworth Hospital, which is in Richmond, had to go to Brighton, and there wasn't any cars on the road at peak hour, or very, very few. And another person travelling through with a horse on the back
travelling
of a trailer.
through with a horse?
No, on a in a trailer. Said exactly the same thing. And I was talking to them as they were driving. They said the roads are very quiet at the moment. Why is that? Well, are they working from home, people?
Maybe, Don, or maybe the price of fuel is so high that people aren't driving their cars.
Is that right?
That's how they'll get us out of driving petrol-driven cars.
Hey, listen, watching the soccer the other night,
yeah,
and then I flicked on for 5 minutes to the footy. Why do the AFL footballers wear their socks down? And I watch the soccer girls, they have them pulled up, they look far more athletic, they look quicker. In our time, when you had your socks down, you were like an old plodding cart horse.
Yes.
Did you wear you didn't wear your socks down, did you? Neither did I. You pulled them right up.
Because we had shin guards on.
Yes, but it still didn't.
No, I know, that's right, yep. Got to look the part, Don.
I think so, but these AFL footballers, they're all down with the socks are down around their ankles.
That's right, Don. Yeah, not a good look. We want to try and emphasise the brand by all looking neat. Well, you know.
And the girls look so much better. I noticed that the other day.
Now, Don, someone sent in a bloke called Trent, who he comes on WhatsApp. He sent a picture of, just getting it for you, he sent a picture, just a minute, here we are. He sent a picture, Trent did, of a big Solvol canister container with a big plunger in it saying, and he's got the caption underneath, Don would be in heaven. It's a big Solvol container.
Yeah, he probably went to Bunnings.
He didn't go to fucking Bunnings.
That container would be at Bunnings. I don't want that pressure thing. I want a cake of soap.
What's Solvol?
Yes. You remember well, you don't remember.
I do.
And I just bought in. I was going to
So he said, Don, you'll have an optical orgasm if you see that. I'm showing it to you now.
I've seen it.
I can see you getting firm.
What's his name?
Speak.
Trent.
Yeah.
Trent, no, Dr. Z from America sent me the stuff. It's called lava soap, which is a substitute. We ought to get the agency for lava soap and sell it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a big seller. That'd be
we could have a big sign in the desk here, lava soap.
Oh, fuck.
It's better than the Solvo.
How many people would buy lava soap? There'd be another harebrained venture of yours that would put us out of business.
Well, we would get...
You're trying to make money out of this.
Hey, remember the other...
I reckon we could do a lot better than getting lava soap to kick us off.
What about the other one I bought back when we were playing, about putting a key? You remember running was all the go back in our day? And people would pull their key. You wanted to... I bought back that little thing you put your key in. Do you remember that? There was another one we were going to do.
That's right. These harebrained schemes of yours, Don, that just end up going
And then
nowhere.
the moleskin tape. We were going to do the moleskin tape.
Yeah.
You know, Johnson & Johnson used to use it.
No, moleskin tape's all right, but...
Well, what about the key? You wanted to do the key. Well, geez, we would have made a lot of money out of our own. And shout-outs. You're into glass houses. You had that Pamela Anderson house down in Richmond. St Kilda. I went looking at glass houses yesterday, and do you know you can get them in all shapes and sizes for growing your plants?
Glass houses?
Glass houses. You know hot houses?
Oh, hot house.
Hot houses or glass houses. They call glass houses. That's the name of the company.
That's the name of the company.
Yeah, Glass House Company.
They make hot house.
They make hot houses where you put your plants. And you can get them about 2 metres by 2 metres, all varying sizes. Anyway, I'm giving a shout out. I'm giving a shout out to Gary Anderson. He operates the company. It's called Glass House. the Glass House Company. They're
Well, you
down
only
in
give him a
Mornington.
shout out if he listens.
He does listen. That's why I'm doing it, because he
that's
said he listened to the Warwick Kappa Ricky Nixon interview last week.
Yeah.
Oh, don't laugh. Anyway.
Well, they ended up becoming
What?
suckholes.
It was
they did.
pathetic. It was pathetic. God.
Well, don't be
we
so-
should have had the cameras. Did you have the cameras
Yeah,
going?
we put it on. We put a
Well,
bit
we put them to air. The work that what's his own Warwick Kappa's had done to himself.
Did we put it to air, Don? We've got Metro Golden Mayor's assistant over here, Sue. She's putting stuff to air on your behalf and my behalf. We don't know how to do it, so that's what we.
So that went to so the people can see Warwick
some
Kappa.
of it, didn't it? No, some of it went to air. Yeah, some of it, but the broadcast went to air, of course.
Okay, well, anyway, if you're looking for a hot house or a glass house to grow your you might want to. You could grow a bit of dope in it, couldn't you?
I just said I hope you're growing hooch, Don. That'd
Oh,
be a
did
good
you?
example. I did say that,
I could
Don.
press it. Do you see they're trying to legalise, medicinal marijuana? Jeez,
God.
that's really helped me. That marijuana, pain, whatever else.
Has it? What the marijuana oil?
Yes. I don't know what I'll do. I've given away all the heavy shit, tramadol and
Have you?
the naproxens and indicids.
Have you heard from the doc lately, James?
No.
He-
He's killed them.
He's dropped off.
He's gone. He's off to Sydney. He's off
He's
to
dropped
Queensland.
off. He's used us to become
No, he
famous.
hasn't.
Now he's
No, he's off to Queensland. He's moving back to where he came from. And so, Gary Anderson, I've given the doctor a shout out in America for sending me his lava soap. And the next one, now this is fantastic. You told me yesterday that we've invested in BeFit Foods.
we have
Well, that was an executive decision.
yeah you
Yeah,
and I,
you did it on my behalf.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you
I
very
paid-
much for consulting
and I
me.
paid for it.
Oh, so you put me in.
I put you and I in, and I paid you. I asked you for no money.
I'll give you money.
We
You
are.
will not pay for me.
We are an investor. We are a crowd venture.
Do you think we could finish up like Bondi Sands and
are a
sell it
crowd-
for millions?
we are a
Did you
crowd-
see Bondi Sands sold for 40? And do you know who the original backer was of Bondi Sands?
No.
We played football against him, Gary Wilson.
Right. So, Don, if I
40
could finish.
Now, hang on.
No, just shut
Will
up,
you shut
Don.
up?
No, Don, you can do that. Just a minute. You got on to we are an investor in crowd venture. We are
BeFit
We
Foods.
are now part of their company. So we're putting our money where our mouth
And
is.
I am going to give you a testimony from a man called Luke from Ballarat, who has tabulated his weight loss
God.
over 6 months. He started,
Look
there
at
it is,
that.
there's a bit of paper.
Could you be
He
bothered?
started November 22nd last year. He was 121 kilos. Now, each week he has measured, he's lost 1 kilo, he's lost 4
1
there.
kilo?
Shut up! In 1 week. In 1 week. Now we get up to the 29th of July, 29th of July last week.
Fuck.
He is 99.7.
How
He
many-
has lost 21 kilos in 6 months. How much is that? 21, that's 4, that's 40.
What, Don?
Hey, shit, that's over 3 stone. In the
So he's
4
lost
stone.
from eating BeFit food.
BeFit Food. He's on it and he has kept his... There it is. Look, there's a bit of paper.
I know, mate. Could you be bothered?
If we had a camera, I would hold this up to the camera.
Well, we'll hold it up when we do the intro. We'll say this is the
This
statistics.
is Luke. Luke's weight loss.
So you're giving him a shout out. No,
Yeah.
you're giving BeFit food.
No, I'm giving BeFit Food and also Luke because at least...
We're part of the company.
Okay, but at least
Small
Luke has
part.
done it properly,
Small
had
part.
stuck at it. Not many people stick at these things, but he's been doing it for 6 months.
Fancy
the only
you.
trouble is he loves the beer, they tell me.
Fancy you saying I've made an executive decision. I put you in, asked you for no money, so that we're now part of BeFit Foods. So
I don't want you controlling my life. You try and control everyone else's life. Don't control
Now,
mine.
Mick Christian, Michael
Oh, geez,
Christian.
there's another monster.
Well, incidentally, we got a text. Sue got a text from Ivan. He was just getting
He's
on the.
using the word we now. He's plural.
Don, just let me get a sentence out. Sue got a text from Ivan this morning saying he was just getting on the plane from Perth to come over here, and was the podcast going to be televised or whatever so he could stream it on the plane or something. I'm fucked if I know what he...
Did he get recognised as he... as he went through?
Now, Don, this is from Ivan. Ivan, do you know this, that he has had manufactured some stubby holders with
Ivan has.
You fucking
you said this is from
Why
Ivan.
would Ivan manufacture stubby holders?
Did you replay that? You said Ivan said he's manufactured stubby holders.
I said Ivan said, are we televising this because he wanted to stream it on the plane coming home from Perth?
And then you said about Ivan making stubby holders.
I don't believe I did say that.
You did. You got
Michael
CTE.
Christian has now manufactured some stubby holders with your photo and my photo on them in the red form, stubby holders. And he has said, he'll have a listen to this. He said, for Father's Day.
Oh, bullshit.
He said, I'm reading it out. He said, I'm reading it out, Don. And here it is. He said, here we go. G'day, Sam. A shout out, please, from Greg to Greg from Mentone. Greg listens every week and mentioned that he saw Rex. I saw in the walking.
Rex.
So he said to her, so well done. Hello, Rex. And also Billy Hodges. He said his name was Hughes, but he got that wrong. It's Hodges. Billy Hodges was the highest offer for the cap, number 2. And number 3, we've already had offers. You know, remember the signed cap that went for $900?
Who signed it?
Oh, God Almighty, Don!
I didn't
Please,
sign it.
you're going. Surely you're doing this. You're doing this on purpose, are you? Please, are you? Oh, you fuck! Who signed it? You signed it.
I didn't.
You signed it. I signed it. Ivan. So Mick Christian.
There must be a counterfeiter around.
Have a listen to this. Mick Christian sent over a cap. You cannot be serious for Ivan to sign it.
Oh, bullshit.
And it's not even Ivan. It's not his name. I said, you could have written Ivan, Mick. He said, no, we can't defraud people.
Oh, no.
And Ben Fordham has signed it, and Rex. They 5 great signatures. And we're into the third cap that he's auctioning. And he says also taking orders for the stubby holders for Father's Day. Stubby.
Oh, I think we better look into this. I think somebody's forging these signatures.
I don't know how
there's a culprit here.
I don't know how much, Don, the stubby holders Mick's letting them go for, but they've got your photo and my photo on them, and he said he's only made 1,000 of them, so get in quick.
I think we better
1,000.
We better be like the Bond brothers over in Adelaide.
He said, get in quick for Father's Day. So you can...
How'd you
be your father? How'd you be giving your old man a fucking stubby holder for Father's Day? Says, thanks, son. Could you afford it? I don't know how much they are. Mick, I hope he's selling them for a premium because it's got your photo and my photo on it.
What is he cutting up wetsuits? Wetsuits?
I'm not sure if I did this last week. Did I say Leo Carey from Koroit? Leo is a keen golfer and Cats fan. Did I say that?
No, tell me about Leo.
Billy
who?
Billy Hodges.
Billy.
No, I think I did that.
Tell us about Leo.
It's a shout out. He listens to the
You
podcast.
probably have. You suffer from CTE.
No, now Don. Now listen to this, Don. And so this is what bemuses you. Do you know who the Mayor of London is?
Yeah, that...
Sadiq Khan.
Hang on. Oh, hang on. I'm getting good. We had Boris, whatever his name is.
He was the Prime Minister.
No, he was the Mayor of London during the Olympics.
Sunak Johnson.
Then they've got a...
He was the Prime Minister.
They've got a Prime Minister now from India, haven't they?
Richie Sunak.
Yeah, well, hang on. No, that's the Prime Minister, isn't it?
The Prime Minister of Britain is Richie Sunak.
Okay, well, his mate's the Lord Mayor, is he?
His mate is the Lord Mayor of London. I just said that, is Sadiq Khan.
Well, they're all coming. The place has been taken over.
So this is why I'm reading this out, Don. Please give me a chance, Don. For God's sake, man. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is encouraging people to learn Arabic. because he said he wants people to accept the culture of Arabic. And so the next news item after this came on the television was, listen to this, you think I'm making this up, 54 people were killed and 100 injured by a suicide bomber in Pakistan. And the reason why the suicide bomber blew up and killed 54 people, injured 100, was because it's an ongoing conflict against democracy, which it views as hostile to the principles of Sharia. Sharia law.
Oh, that's law.
Yeah. So the Mayor of London wants you to learn Arabic because you want to adopt their culture, and the culture is that 54 people were killed because it's a conflict against democracy, which it views as hostile to the principles of Sharia. So therefore, if you get involved in all that, Don, that is the greatest contradiction in terms I've ever heard. Why would you want to learn Arabic? Because it's a contradiction to democracy. This is why people are getting blown up. And it's
Really?
contrary to the principles of Sharia law, you know.
Can I make a
that
prediction?
Women can't go to school and can't drive a car and can't show their face and can't do anything.
Can you mark this down? I could be wrong, but I'm going to make a prediction. Climate change. Spring has come early. We're in the middle of winter and the seasons are on the change. Blossom is now coming out. Blossom and foliage on deciduous trees. I've noticed that in the past 2 weeks.
You ever heard
It's not in the last week or so.
You heard of Blossom Dearie?
Who?
Do you know who Blossom Dearie is? This is what you do to me. Blossom Dearie is a singer, and she sang "I'm Shadowing You." She's a famous singer, Blossom Dearie.
How's it go?
I'm shadowing you.
That's Frank Sinatra.
You could tell that voice, could you?
Yeah, Frank Sinatra.
That Blossom
Tony
Dearie's
Bennett?
song "I'm Shadowing You." He goes da 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 da. I'll play it for you. You keep going. Go
Okay. Well, anyway, spring is coming early, and I am going to say that we're going to have a very dry. I could be wrong. I hope I am wrong.
You reckon that's
I think we're going to have a dry summer. Spring has come early. And the other thing that I am really worried about, because there's been undergrowth, and I've said this in the past, you're not allowed to burn off. What is it called? Mosaic burning or of the undergrowth. But I think we're in for a very bad fire danger season this year.
And you're putting that down to climate change?
No, no. I'm just
not
saying.
For the reasons the activists.
No, hang on. It's all to do with the currents and your mate, who was he on? You know, who said about the currents?
William Kninmont.
Yes, said about the currents.
Very good book.
And it's got a lot to do with that, and that affects our weather. And I think we're going to be in for a terrible summer. If spring is indication, because it's coming. The horses are actually losing their hair right now. Mine are losing their hair, which is very interesting because it doesn't happen until the last week of September, early October. So they're about 6 weeks ahead, the horses, in shedding their coats.
I'm trying to get Blossom Dearie up for you, Don.
No, don't worry about it.
Go on then. All right.
When you're second guessing your
fucking thing.
download the Google app for iPhone.
All right, so I was going to mention one other thing about... so we were completely correct, Don. We were ahead of the curve with... Please tell me this is her. This is Blossom Dearie.
Oh, please.
I was young, I lived
They
in
say
a
it's
world of
spring.
dreams, of moods and myths and illusionary schemes.
This is Blossom Dearie.
Do you like her?
Well,
Though
I'm just
now
telling
I'm
you.
much more grown up.
This
I
is
fear that I
about
must
spring.
own up to the fact that I'm in doubt of
Wait for the
what the
verse.
modern
Oh, God.
cynic shout of.
Here we go.
It's a bit like you singing on your 70th
They
in that
say
factory
it's
next door.
What's that, Don?
Well, you, at your birthdays, I've been to your 60th and your 70th. Your 60th was down at some restaurant and you got Isaac Appel up on piano and your board is shitless with your rendition of something my
Only by
way.
popular request I did it,
Okay,
Don.
and then in your 70th, next door in the factory...
didn't sing there.
Yes, you did. You got up on stage and sang.
Only after Tom Burlinson
Tom Burlinson.
Fantastic. And then I just finished by someone said, "Why don't you have a song, Sam?"
They couldn't hold you back. Nobody suggested that. You got up.
But everyone drifted
That
out
was a figment of your imagination. Somebody say, "Will you get up and sing?" They couldn't hold you back.
So we were quite right, Don, about the COVID stuff.
He's a shit-house singer.
Don.
He thinks he's Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett,
I'll play you
Bing Crosby.
Hang on, I'll play you.
He's shit.
If you could speak for a minute,
all he can do is play the drums.
I'll get you a song of me.
Oh no, please! Don't do it.
Go on, speak.
No, I can't, Phil. While you,
I'm going to do it. No, shut up. Hang on now, just a minute.
I saw a very unusual press conference the other day. John Woodman, who was the developer who was found that he'd given money to Sam Aziz and Jeff Ablett, who were both mayors of the city of Casey at the time, he got up and gave it was really weird. It's on YouTube. And then Sam Aziz, he's an interesting looking man.
Go on, keep going.
Sam... Oh, this is unbelievable. We're supposed to be doing a podcast and you go off at me talking on the phone and you're conducting a conversation.
Hang on.
Come on, who's on the phone? Sam. Who's Sam?
Sam Kekovich. Now, just a minute. I'm going to put him on. Just a minute. Hang on, Sam.
We won't be able to understand.
Just a minute, Sue. Come on, put him on, please.
Sam, do not use some of those big words that we know nothing.
Shut up, he can't hear you. Broadcaster. Right, now, put the earphones on, Don.
Sam!
Just a minute, Don. Fuck you. Can you hear us?
I got you loud and clear.
Now, you're on. You cannot be serious, Sam, so go ahead. You've rung in. I shouldn't have had the phone on. I should have had it on mute, but now that you've rung, we're very happy to hear from you. What's going on? I've just finished telling Don that our media is a bit like the media in America, who won't mention the absolute crooked, fraudulent president they have there. And they won't even mention it on CNN.
Well, I was going to elaborate and I was absolutely delighted when you paid me the honour of putting me through to speak to such a
large audience.
No, you do have a large audience, but more important, we're two very learned and
hey, listen, before you go on with your bullshit,
shut up,
where's
Don.
that jumper I gave you? We swapped in 1975. Where is my football jumper, number 23? What did you do with it?
Well, that last sighting, Don, I think if my memory serves me correctly, you saw it perambulating around Toorak Road. On its most
you gave it to a beau that you were squiring, and she wore it round. Wore it around.
Yes, well,
go ahead.
In question. Yes, well, the person in question, I was short of a few shekels to pay for the service, so I thought the jumper might fill the void. She was more than content with that, Don, so you'd be happy to know. But the reason I rang, Sam, and then I heard Don interrupt rudely, claiming that I'd be elaborating with some obfuscations or prevarications. They're lies, Don, but they weren't. The reason I rang, Sam, to be perfectly candid with you, was to... I had lost some phone numbers. I was inquiring about Rex's welfare, health and welfare, and trying if you could shoot his numbers.
I will.
But now that at the appropriate time you may be able to see fit to do that. But
I will do that when we ring off.
When we ring up. But in the interim, let me just say this.
Yep.
Let me say this. There are two words that best depict the spirit and the essence of the Australian character, and they are fair dinkum. Now, this place has been eroded. The very fabric of our democracy has been eroded, and these nondescripts who see fit
hey, listen,
to legitimise their own existence by impinging themselves on inane crusades to try and make themselves feel good because they're absolutely losers and feel absolutely shizen. And now, what else can I tell you? And the topic that's very close to us, there, Don, you just stay with us. Sam, another topic that's very close to us is, of course, the previous President of the United States, Donald Trump. And you made a very pertinent comment, a very valid one, some time ago, when they were continually hammering and clipping at his heels, that nothing short of an assassination will appease these
neocons.
Scurrilous, deceitful,
Neocons.
pieces of Bodine's excretia. How they can be tolerated, it is just insane. And you're right, the media is so derelict. And I'll tell you something else, Sam, if I may just... Don, bear with me 1 second, I'll get out of here.
I'm nearly asleep.
No, well, let me tell you what's happened to this country. We have become a loose collection of 6 fiefdoms, operated by 6 egotistical emperors, supported by an emasculated Prime Minister, who thinks the clever spin, without good marketing and supported by an equally derelict media, can actually work. That's why this country is rooted. And
Can you put it a bit more plainly?
No, he used some very good words and then
And
just
then finished with rooted.
so that the layman could understand what he was talking about.
He's got the common touch.
You got to sometimes, Don, employ the vernacular. We've all got expansive vocabs, or lexicon, as you would say. You would know what that means. And sometimes the vernacular has the impact to sort of just ram the package home, for want of a better term.
So to speak.
So to speak.
All right.
Listen, our good friend, and you would have played against him, has just fallen off his surfboard. He listens to this when he's trying to crack a wave out the back of Ocean Grove. Percy Jones, that
Percy,
big man from Carlton, he's into surfing now.
You would have come up against him, Sam. You would have, wouldn't you?
We have crossed paths on a number of fronts, Sam and Don. Most recently, I actually had Percy on my podcast. I also do a podcast with Leon Wiegard called Life and Sport. It nowhere near has the ratings of yours, but then again, there was no intent. But Percy was a guest one day, and I often speak to Percy down at that leafy tree-lined suburb of Barwon Heads, I believe, and he sits on the park bench there doing his crosswords, so he rings me every half hour. He struggled the other day. Sam, he said to me, he said, have you done the crossword? I said, I do it every morning, as you know, at 6 o'clock, both crosswords. He said, look, I'm stuck with number 32 down. He said, what is it? It's a 3-letter word. He said, what is it? Begins with I. He said, it's frozen water.
He said it's a 4-letter word starting with D. It's an entrance to a building. And he had trouble. He just
those conversations would go for quite a while with his stuttering, wouldn't it, Sam?
He's a lovely individual.
Very good man. Now, Sam,
he's a very good man. Indeed, he is. I'm
going to forward Rex's phone number to you. He'd be happy to hear from you, and it's very delightful to hear from you.
Look, it's. I would have said an epiphany over Sunday.
A
but
what?
given the fact it's an epiphany.
Isn't that something to do with Lord Jesus? Epiphany?
Don, I would imagine piety is not all that prevalent in your life, but sometimes it helps to find their maker in a moment of need.
Sam?
Look, at the moment, I'm just...
Yeah, no. Thank you. We're going to ring off because we've got a very important guest who's just walked into the.
Can't say.
No, I can say now that he's turned up. I can say because it's obviously we're going to interview him.
But don't know.
That's all right. His name's James Tompkins, and he's won 400 gold medals in rowing. 400, Don.
Really?
And we're about to interview
him.
If
I may, pardon my intrusion, if I may be so bold. This is no shape or form denigrating or making light of your podcast. But we had an interesting individual which I worked with last week at the Gold Coast. The guy that actually extracted the 11 kids out of the cave in Thailand.
Oh, man!
He was riveting.
What a hero that person!
Sam, I cannot watch that. I just cannot watch that.
But what they did,
fantastic.
But it was purely an Australian device. He was the one that came up with the idea of euthanizing the kids with his partner and bringing them out in one at a time.
Hang on, you said euthanize. Sam, you said euthanize.
Yeah, they euthanized the kids one by one.
They put them to sleep.
But
really,
they were 2 kilometres in the cave. The cave was 2 kilometres long.
They settled them down by making them not realise what danger they're in, Don.
Oh,
exactly. But interestingly enough, they lost a seal. One of the seals, it's a Thai seal,
What?
You know how well trained they are.
Yeah.
One of them unfortunately lost his life. But the interesting thing, the cave diving and normal diving is two vastly different things. And these guys, you talk about daredevil stunts, they go diving. I thought, at Mount Gambier cave diving, there's some great caves out there, but they dive off China apparently, and they go down for miles.
Well,
it is fascinating stuff.
It is
But
fascinating.
that's for another day.
And your friend that you do the crosswords with, Peter, he dives. He dives down out the back at the Bomboras when he's catching the huge wave out there.
So he's a surfer, a diver
waiting
as
for
well.
a swell to come in, he'll dive right down to
Really?
the kelp beds, the kelp forests.
I know the
Underneath.
kelp's very healthy.
Yeah.
Just tell me one thing, and I must confess I'm a layman when it comes to surfing, even though I was a
They
mixed
would have had
early.
big
Shut
waves
up,
up
Don.
around Myrtleford, wouldn't they? Down the Oven or the King
Tell
River.
you one thing, what, Sam?
Midge Farrelly.
Yep.
Does Percy use the long board or the short fibre board?
He's got a 45-foot board. He can't fit on any other length board. It's a huge, big lump of balsa wood. It's the longest balsa wood board that's ever been known.
And he's got a seat riveted to it as well.
He's got a walking frame up one end, and he hangs 5 by moving the frame down to the front of the board. All the best, my friend.
See you later.
Good boy.
It's been an absolute delight.
Good on
Hooroo.
you. Right, now we're turning that off. Now there's just isn't that extraordinary, Don, that we get someone in now. We're closing this off now. We're closing this up. If you're going to speak, don't speak. We're closing this off because a very, very important man's come in. So here we go.